I would imagine you've dealt mentally and emotionally with the pressure all season long. You eat pressure for breakfast when you're playing for your dinner, so to speak. What was it like going into that postseason?
There was a lot of confidence. I mean, first of all, we were really good that year. So we were on like an 8-game run. So there was a whole bunch of confidence going into the playoffs that this team had a chance to win it all. But then there's the other side of that going 13-3 and being on the cover of Sports Illustrated and having everybody talk about you, you go one and done in the playoffs and you just kind of become another story. And so going into that first playoff game that we played against Minnesota, Mike Martz called me up and told me what play we were running first in that game. So for 3 days, I went over that play in my mind in every different scenario on what could happen. So we go into that playoff, run the first play of the game, I throw a 60-some-yard touchdown pass to Isaac Bruce. And so that was one of the coolest things because all this pressure and we felt all this anxiety and all that disappeared real quickly because the very first throw we made was a touchdown pass, settled us all down, and we were able to make the run from there. And then I'll never forget after we won the NFC Championship game that after
Which was
that
a heck of a game, by the way.
it was an unbelievable game. You know, crazy. There's crazy stories that go into that one as well. But I remember laying on my bed with my wife, and it was after this whole whirlwind. We went through the playoffs. You know, I felt like I hadn't slept in weeks. We're like pinching each other, even though we were too tired to pinch each other, going, this is really happening. We are actually going to the Super Bowl after everything. And like you said, a crazy year. That was one of those moments where it really sunk in for the first time that year because it had been such a whirlwind with so many different things where we took a deep breath and just looked at each other and said, this is really happening. We are going to the Super Bowl. Who would have ever, I mean, we would have never imagined in a million years that we would be there. And that was one of those moments that I'll never forget, that it was just the two of us, nobody else around, where, you know, we kind of grasped it and where we were and where God had taken us in a short period of time.
You guys get up to a 16-0 lead.
Right.
And when I talked to Dick Vermeil, he said Kirk got hurt in the first half. It was a rib injury.
Right.
And he said, I wasn't 100% sure that he was going to be able to come back out in the second half.
I was 100% sure. There was no doubt. Yeah,
that's what he said about you. He said, Kurt walked up to me and said, don't worry about it.
Yeah, there was no doubt.
But that's that toughness again. I mean, you've been ragdolled. And when you play in a Mike Martz offense, you're going to get hit as the quarterback.
Knew you were going to get hit. I don't even know if that was toughness. That was simply just, we traveled too far to get here. There's no way that I'm leaving this game.
Let's see what happens next.
A 16-point Ram lead has been erased.
Couldn't ask for a better script. Let's go win it right now. Let's go win it right now.
If you're Kurt Warner, you're thinking, I got to get my team in field goal range.
Warner to throw. Going deep downfield. Adjusting for it is Isaac Bruce. And Isaac Bruce threads his way for a touchdown. 73 yards.
But it's not over yet.
No. Probably the final play of the game. It is caught by Dyson. Can he get in? No, he cannot. And the Rams have won the Super Bowl.
Love you, Coach. I love you, too. Thanks for the chance.
It's such, you know, that moment, it gets lost with the applause, but, you know, Dick Vermeil says, I love you, too, and you say, thanks for the chance.
Yeah.
That's all you needed was a chance.
I mean, that's what I believed. You know, I told you before, I believed I needed the chance, but, you know, the hardest part oftentimes is somebody giving you the chance, somebody else believing in you enough to give you that opportunity. You know, I remember my wife, you know, and when I went over, you know, because it kind of become, I don't even know where it started, you know, kind of our ritual after games.
It was almost like the camera, it's like everybody waited for the kiss after
so she was in the
game.
front row somewhere in St. Louis, and somehow it led to a kiss, and then it became a kiss every time. And so there, right after the game, that's the first thing I did. And, you know, all I remember her saying, we did it. We did it. You know, that was the only thing I remember from that moment was just her saying, and just being in that moment with her, like, we did it. You know, whatever else happens from this point, what we had been dreaming about, what we've been chasing after, we did it.
It was all there, and you guys went on a burst there where it's as good as the NFL's ever seen.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's it's funny because oftentimes we don't understand what we're a part of until after.